Are you relentless in your pursuit of knowledge? Do you get a thrill whenever you think of a new or clever idea? Would you be sorted into Ravenclaw House at Hogwarts? Then you, my friend, are a blue mage. In Magic the Gathering, the 5 colors represent different attributes and strategies. Blue believes in the value of learning and improvement. Blue mages use logic, reasoning, and creativity to determine the best outcome, the best possible play. Blue welcomes challenges, no matter how great, and it does its best to overcome them. Blue is the most reactive color in Magic and has access to instant speed spells that can control the opponent's board. The most iconic of these cards is Counterspell, named for the original 2-mana spell in Alpha. While other colors can destroy and exile various threats, blue makes sure they never enter the battlefield in the first place. There have been several variations on Counterspell printed over the years, but they all have one thing in common. They throw a wrench in the opponent's plans and buy the blue player the time they need to find a win condition. Blue is also known for its ability to churn through its library and find just the right spell for the job. Draw a card is one of the most important lines of rules text in Magic, and blue has more card draw spells than any other color. This gives blue access to more cards and more resources per game than most other colors. In Magic theory, we call this card advantage. Blue decks have traditionally been spell-heavy and controlling, but the modern era of Magic has brought us plenty of powerful blue creatures. So what are these creatures like? What abilities do they have, and why should you play them? Blue creatures can be tricky, and many of them are evasive in combat. Like white, blue has access to more creatures with flying on average than the other 3 colors of Magic, but it also has creatures that can't be blocked in combat, and if those creatures get a boost from enchantments or +1/+1 counters, they can do a surprising amount of damage. Blue loves to play spells on its opponent's turn, and creature spells are no exception. Some blue creatures, like the popular Snapcaster Mage, have the ability Flash, which allows them to be cast at instant speed. This gives blue a surprise blocker in combat, or an unexpected answer to an opponent's spell. There are also blue creatures that provide additional card selection to players. Merfolk Looter is a classic creature that allows you to draw a card, then discard a card, and creatures with this ability are commonly referred to as looters. While they don't provide the card advantage per se, because you have the same number of cards at the end of the exchange, looters allow you to see more cards in your deck and decide which option is best for the situation, and for blue, having the most options is paramount. Speaking of options, there are plenty of ways to build a blue deck. Blue-based control decks featuring counterspells and planeswalkers that generate card advantage have been staples of tournament Magic for years. These decks rely on planeswalkers or a single resilient creature to end the game, and they often borrow board wipes from white or single target removal spells from black. But that doesn't mean blue can't attack with creatures. Blue decks like Merfolk and Fairies take advantage of tribal creature synergies, and they can pack quite a punch. But most aggressive blue decks fall into a category that we sometimes call tempo decks. These decks play a few aggressively costed and evasive creatures and back them up with counterspells or spells that return creatures to their opponent's hand, so the player across from you will always be on the back foot. Blue is a flexible color that can adapt and react to most spells in the opponent's arsenal, but it does have some drawbacks. Blue has counterspells, but it doesn't always have the tools to react to a spell once it resolves. More cards are being printed with the phrase "can't be counted" in their rules text, and those spells can be game over for some blue decks. Blue has access to cards like Blink of an Eye, which return permanents to their owner's hand, but it lacks the hard removal spells commonly found in white and black. And compared to red and green, blue is more reactive than proactive, so it can fall behind if it takes too long to set up its game plan. But if you're a blue mage, you see the value in taking your time to find the right answer. All you need to do is reflect on and learn from your previous matches, and you'll see an improvement in your game before you know it. So, why do you enjoy playing blue decks? What's your favorite blue card in Magic's history? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned as we cover all 5 colors of Magic.